It's a good place to start.
Hey,
Mm.
Sprout.
How you
Wow.
doing, Puja?
Yeah, so hello
Mm.
everyone watching us right now. Here we are having this lovely conversation already for a while, and now recording a piece to, yeah, to inform you, to show ourselves, to meet you, and to prepare everybody for the beautiful temple party that we are putting on very soon, June 16, 17, in the Amsterdam area. So I'm sitting here in Berlin, being all this Dutchy woman, and Sprout is sitting in Ubud, being this all American guy. And yeah, let's.
Canadian.
Hi, hi.
How you doing, Puja?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited
Good.
about everything that's evolving right now. I'm excited about the temple. Um, Basically excited about life and love and whatever it brings.
Mm.
Yeah. And how are you
Mm.
over there in your beautiful Ubud?
Yeah, I'm doing super good. Actually just held a temple 4 days ago. Yeah, and it was super beautiful. I'm like really loving this space of creation, and Ubud is magical. Like Bali itself is like such a magical space. It's so beautiful. Everything's like so fine tuned, and it's just everything is music to my ears. And yeah, and now I'm getting ready to come into Holland, which this last couple of months connecting with Dutch people has been like, yeah, some of the most expansive experiences I've had. Just yeah, something about the Dutch culture and embodiment, just like really stepping it up. I've been traveling the world, hosting workshops, and yeah, people from the Netherlands are something magical. So really excited to come into Amsterdam and create a space with you, and yeah, help you just like allow people to tap into a deeper level of vulnerability and connection with the divine.
Mm.
You know, love as a conduit into knowing the divine, knowing God within. So I'm so excited to be hosting it with you. I think there's like some magic playing between the two of us. And yeah, the dance between our souls is vibrating something that, yeah, has a lot to share, has a lot to share with the world. Um, yeah, and these spaces, as you know, uh, these spaces just are quite unique. Like the the intention and space that's being created, the way that they're being created within our field is not happening very often. Like it's a very unique vibration, um, bringing love into an expanded understanding, an expanded embodied understanding of what it's like to be in a sacred temple where anything can happen but nothing is expected.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so hearing you now is like this how important and beautiful it is to understand the refinement of what a temple takes. And I'm really happy that we kind of clicked in, some kind of frequency happened, and we understand where this comes from. And for me, that's like so important. Like anything can happen, and you never expect anything. And at the same time, you want that to be able to happen because of the container that we create is such a divine, safe nest, such a, yeah, really like the safety, so we can like really open up in all our vulnerability and all our humanness, and then, you know, everything becomes divine. And it's like so unique, and like you say, you don't see it in a high quality so often. You know, people, I just heard a story from someone, and I was eager to hear, like, oh, I hope I can hear another beautiful story. And it was so kind of disappointing. Even he was disappointed himself, like, fuck, this is a big name. And it was not held. It was not safe. It was not divine. It was not. It was just like, yeah, you can do whatever you like. And that's not what a temple is about. So could you speak a bit about what is a temple for you, and where does your love and you know, where you started to create them from? Then I'll also share a little bit of how my temple journey started.
Yeah, so for me, when I really tune in, like being vulnerable and honest, there's this aspect of maybe where I desired to be years ago when I started my journey around intimacy, love, sacred sexuality, where I desired to be, and I didn't know the pathway to get there. And years of work and reflecting, and eventually led into people asking me to host workshops, eventually led me to like facing this fear of, and often I'm guided by this little fear of like, there's something over there, and I want to understand what it is. And it was around, like, now I get it. A sacred temple is a space in which I can exist in love with all my brothers and sisters, where intimacy, love, sexuality is celebrated as a birthright. And, you know, it used to be a fear, and I just went into that. I just kept being like, well, what is this? Like, there's something in here. And I learned along the way by going to unheld spaces and different events where I was like, yeah, you know, like it could be deeper. There could be more. Now, really, it in my soul was like, it should be more.
Yes, exactly.
Like, it needs to be. It needs to be more. There's something playing out. There's something playing out in this container, and for me, it's like, you know, the biggest, like, the container of the human experience. Ultimately, I'm like, over here where we're all held and we're safe, and sexuality can express itself. I'm trying to like live in the paradigm in which I see reality, so that it's not a gap between where I want reality to be and where I am. I want to be where I see reality. And that's where the temple space really comes from.
Yes, exactly.
For me.
Yeah, and I think in its origins as well, like that it creates it's always this word container. It's a bit like the word is not really juicy, but it is that place, the field of where we drop the illusion of the reality and drop into realness, and come to our deeper nature and into our divineness, but also into just our raw, like, you know, we are flesh and blood, and we have triggers, and we cook dinners, and we live a human life. And how can you deepen that on a ritualized base? And like, it is a tantric temple party that we do, and the temple is inviting to be our full us, and sexuality is invited in. And also and it's not a place where there needs to be sex. So it's really like for people that don't know it, it's like, yeah, but what are you really talking about here? And that's the thing, you have to experience it. And you cannot, on some level, you cannot understand what is a temple fully until you've been there, like really. You know, like it's almost on some level trying to understand, like, you know, this, it's maybe a stupid example, but like how does the color blue sound or something? Like, yeah, you can kind of come close and you get a hint of it, but like you really don't get it because it's quite unique. And what the temples were about was really that people came together in this sacred space and coming to see both their humanness and their divineness also through each other and through the relating that happens. And whether that's relating through the beautiful food that we will have as well, or to just being in yourself, and maybe 5 minutes later you just open up in a dance, and maybe then 5 minutes later something else happens. And yeah, I'm also trying to explain right now in the same sense, like, is it just going with the flow? There are spaces that it's open, like because there's the beauty that life just shows up. You don't have to create, you know, like when you're tapped in and allow life to happen, then life just shows up and you just have to kind of go with it, give yourself to that. But before you can come to that space, there's also the beauty of held spaces, and we really take quite some time to really go through beautiful structures and rituals to come to the depth and the different kind of qualities of how to connect with yourself, with life and others. And that's for me like one of the most important parts as well. Yeah, to really come in that conscious ritualized space together, and then open up and see how God wants to show up, or the goddess, and then come back together again in this more structured space and to see what has happened. Yeah. Yeah, so for me, this is the quality where it came from. So to just give a quick share, so people that have been to my temples in Holland, they kind of know already. But yeah, it started for me with a vision. So my steps to the temple were different than yours. I never went to spaces like that. I just had this clear view of like something like that needs to happen. And I saw this beautiful place with like beautiful people in a sense of conscious, choosing the clothing they really wanted to wear. There's beautiful food. There's like everything is there. And there could be sensuality and sexuality in the space as well. And that was my starting point. Like, why are we engaging with on all levels with each other? We go to the movies, we eat dinner. But usually when sexuality or sensuality comes, it becomes a bit dodgy. It becomes flat. It becomes, you know, while it can be so beautiful and combined to have the sexual energy in the space, the possibility, not that you have to sex out, but just to have that natural flow. Yeah, that was my first thing. And then I just started real small, and I instantly knew like, oh, we have to do it with these people in that house. Like all of a sudden it clicked in, and we made it happen. Also, like we don't know what's going to happen right now, but I knew one thing, like it needs to be a super held space. It's a sacred space. So, and it was magical, and the next time even more magical, and so on. So yeah. And now I felt like this is not just a nice party that the big thing was, I thought I was doing a beautiful party, a beautiful happening, but it was like the most deep space ever. You know, like people meet their strongest desires and the strongest fear in that space, and that there is space for that, and how to deal with that in yourself and to move through that. So it became like this deep journey, and then I kind of realized myself, this is what it is about. You know, it's really freeing ourselves from everything that is in between my deepest me and my deepest meeting to life and the deepest truth. And that is being felt and seen in the space as well. So actually I was really happy. My start point became only a start point. It just pointed to much more depth than I could have imagined, and I love it. Like that's why it drives me still, and to evolve, you know, like to create even more beautiful events out of that. Like the beauty of it also, I like to make it really beautiful, so all senses are being served. Like there's beauty in the space, there's quality there. Gosh, I can't wait. It's almost there. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, as you're speaking, it's just resonating so deeply, and I'm just like, oh yeah, where you're a space where your deepest fear is held and your deepest desire. And this is life. This is life. It's what's playing out every single day. So create a sacred space where we can actively and consciously practice what we deeply in our heart know the journey is. Like, that to me is beautiful. That's where I want to be. These are the people that I feel safe with. These are the people I want to dance with. These are the people I want to make love with. And I wanted to voice this one little aspect that that I thought of just a little bit ago, and it was around this aspect when we talk about sexuality. For me, sexuality is much more than sex. I mean, 15 years ago, sexuality might have just been sex, but nowadays I'm making love to life. And that may sound abstract to people that may be listening, but for me, the concept of making love to life doesn't have to do with me having sex. It has to do with like the whole act of the whole journey being making love to this reality. And so the temple space is that space of making love, not necessarily having sex, although sex is wonderful and beautiful and magic and messy and fun. I really love to help just assist in deepening people's understanding of what it feels like to make love in every cell of the body, without even having your clothes off.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's also this misunderstanding sometimes, or not really received fully, because I understand, but let's give that a little go. Sexuality does not start when two bodies start rubbing each other or whatever. It's really like, this is the circuit here. I am my sexuality, you are your sexuality, and that means that we can make love to life. I can just stand there and feel the sun and feel like the park behind me, and really feel taken by nature, like filled up by it and part of it. So it's like this place where we feel fully embodied and one. So there's no separation anymore. The separation is what keeps us away from feeling our fullness, and sexuality can bring you back into that space, and that's the magic already. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I'm just flowing in, like, if I deepen into my communication around sexuality, I'm really actually looking at my eros, which is like my life force energy, life force that drives me through my whole experience, that's connected to both making babies and everything that drives me in the world. So when we're in that temple space, when we're faced with the allowance, acceptance, and love of our erotic nature, the world can transform. Your whole perception of reality transforms, because then we're embracing this eros without the expectation that sex happens. It's not about, it's about the eros running through you, that moves you, that touches your soul to the divine, to spirit, to the planet, and to the beautiful beings that you're going to come across in this space that we're going to go journey into.
Yes, and how creative that field is when everybody's really dropped in. What I always see, like, it's such a creative unfolding. Like, sometimes like, they change clothes and this shows up and then that, and then you're in your own bubble and opening up your eyes, the whole constellation has changed, and it's like one beautiful movie. Like, it's so creative. People come to the most creative expressions, and not as something
all of a sudden
but like it's just happening.
All of a sudden 8 people are having a shower. I'm like, what's happening here? This is so beautiful. And it's something that always happens to me, because I can't even imagine what happens. We can create container and some sort of structure, but the way people start to create is so unique, and they all move in different ways. And this is what we're creating, a space where we allow this to happen. And I love that. And I know people that might be listening to this might be wondering, okay, what's going to happen? Are people going to touch me? Did all this, because the mind wants to know. But ultimately, this idea that I
really set that up, like what do we do to create a beautiful, safe container that you're not thinking you're coming into this free flow of everything needs to be done. Like, it's a safe container where we encourage your boundaries and celebrate your boundaries and your openings and whatever is needed for you, like unique you in your unique moments. That's the thing that we encourage you. So
and I'll tune in onto this, the idea that the way we structure it from the beginning, as we start to move into space, we create a journey that allows you to tap into your yeses and tap into your no's, a deepening embodied understanding of how to express yourself, to feel yourself, and be able to navigate your boundaries within that space. There's many exercises that will be explored, and it's not just in the mind. Like, we can explore the ideas and concepts in the mind, but what's going to experience itself is in the body, and how you navigate your desires, your fears,
your sensitivity, like how sensitive we are when we come to that alignment. Like, we have such a compass in our body, and especially the body connected to consciousness. We have a compass and we can follow that, but so usually we're taken away from that because there's stories in front of us, or we have a feeling that we have to please a situation or a person, or there's so much in front of that. And when we kind of release those layers, that you can really feel how you want to navigate that longing, sensitivity, that touchedness. It's quite special, really special.
Also a space where it's quite easy to really find your edges, to really find, like, oh yeah, that's that area that are like, oh, I'm not sure how I feel. So we create a safe container where you can witness these edges, whatever they might be for you, and consciously make the choice to, like, engage with that a little bit. Be like, okay, I'd love to explore this. This is a little edgy for me, and it's kind of exciting, and I'd love to try it this way and see how that feels. So we can really, like, expand in our understanding of what it means to be in our full authentic being with other conscious human beings that are full of love and fears and just as much magic as you. Like, it's for me, it's just like heaven. It's just like heaven. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is a space I want to be with my brothers and sisters, where we're all in this together. But we've never known that we're all in this together. Maybe we forgot that. But I'm bringing back remembrance. We are here together.
Yeah, I can already feel, like we spoke before we started recording this, like to do more videos, because I can just like, that we can deepen here and we can deepen there. There's so much to explore, to speak about already. So I'm looking forward to the next video to go a bit deeper, maybe to what is sexuality actually, and like what does it give us? In the depth and in the width of a space like a temple. And it's so different than we usually think, I just want to tap into one thing you said, and now I think I lost it. So anyhow, what people can expect is a place where you and I both facilitate. There will be love angels to support the processes. There's an amazing caterer. We have beautiful food. We have an amazing, beautiful, like heavenly venue. And that's like my upgrade. I just want to go like more expansion, so more time and more beautiful places where we can land. And yeah, so we all start together and we all end together. That's like the part of the safe container. We have an agreement, like a temple entry, and that's an agreement contract. And we have a little list of questionnaire, so we understand who can be in the space, like who is there and what is needed. And also maybe we have a boundary, like I don't think it's a good idea yet or now for you to be in the temple. It's not a place, I always say, like it's a luscious and thrilling place, but it's not for thrill seekers or lust chasers at all. It's really a conscious place to deepen yourself. Yeah, and I would, you know, like that's the thing that we safeguard a lot. What else? Yeah, there's structure, like really beautiful structures. There's really beautiful rituals. There's a lot of embodiment. There's a lot of connecting in different ways and on different levels. And then there is this, like, you have to surrender actually to the magic of the temple. You know, we cannot explain it fully, but there will be structures, there will be open space, and there will be a specific beautiful setting. And yeah, it's a little bit like Alice in Wonderland. Anything you would
beautiful.
add, Love?
Yeah, I was just tuning into what as you're speaking, really trying to drop into my own feminine to feel like exactly what you're resonating. And yeah, one of the biggest intentions I set as I start to drop into creating temple spaces is creating a space to allow the feminine to flow. The feminine, emotional, energetic flow to just feel safe and be able to surrender into a beautiful divine experience. So it's not a space of doing anything, but feeling everything, more or less. Is really like, and that's like that little drop of like intention I want people to feel into. Like, I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to get anything done. All I need to do is feel. And from that space, magic can unfold. You know, when we're tuning into each other and we're feeling, that life force is there.
Yeah. And to trust that, that's the thing, you know, like, can we trust? Are we willing and daring to trust that subtle shift between to do something because we're so hardwired to dropping really in and like, oh, wow, this is happening. Can I trust that? And then I always say, trust the body. The body knows. And the body connects to consciousness, really knows where to go. And that's the field. And that is not boundary. It's full of firm love. You know, we hold a firm, loving container, you know, and also if people go over boundaries, we kind of tap you on the back, like, hey, remember. And then if it's kind of not clicking in, it's like done. You know, we want to keep the space sacred, beautiful. People can drop in as deep as they can go, and everything that's in the way of that we remove. Yeah. And this, I look, when I have here, I remembered what I was about to say a bit ago. Yeah, the thing like, oh gosh, this is a place of sexuality, so I need to be sexual. That's, you know, that keeps, I know for people that keeps running in the mind. And that's not true. I just want to say that, like, it's not true that you have to be sexual all the time. So the memory that came up is this woman who is quite a beautiful sexual woman, and she came and she just felt like, oh, I just need to be held. I have gone through so much, and now I'm in this space, and I need to kind of be with this space, but I'm feeling gentle and sensitive, and she just could deepen herself there, because I allowed her to be exactly where she was. And then her sexual energy came through beautiful emotions, and she was held by some beautiful sisters there, and everybody came to give her a gift to deepen where she was actually at, and that was amazing. So yeah, so place of relaxation, and the magic is that you allow how life really wants to show up for you, and that's not kind of numbing out like, oh, let's see what happens then. It's also kind of, I always call it relaxed and awake. You know, you relax deeper while the awakening goes more alive. And that's the space where you want to be. There's also the invitation where you go to your edge. You know, why do I want to go to my edge? That's scary. Why don't I just stay here and safe? That's nice. Safety is good. And then the edge is that place where you can go to expand yourself a bit, because at the end of the day, like, we all want to, how I call it is like to have free choice all the time. That's what I want. Like, I want to be able to choose what I do and not be caught by something like, oh, I wish I could do that right now, but I'm too scared. And so I lean into that gently and you know, kind of create a bit more space, that direction. Maybe I'm not fully there yet, but at least enjoy that little stretch that I made. And to liberate all that we are at the end of the day. And it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to happen all now, but to kind of go there. Yeah. So June 16, 17, we start letting you guys into the beautiful temple at 1 in the afternoon, and we end the circle around 5, 6 when we cleared the whole temple, and we end with a ritual at the end of the afternoon. And you can read all the details in the invite. We will sending things out. If you want to question things or ask us things, be welcome. And we will be tuning in again in a couple of days, doing another video. And if you did not sign up yet and you're kind of on the edge, do it. Because it's now, and it's not going to happen really soon again. But it's a pleasure to have this excitement already, knowing that it's coming together with you, Sprout. Happy that you're flying in. Don't miss your plane.
And this is, I also just wanted to tap into this. It's happening right now, and this is how we practice to become the change we want to see in the world. This is how we become what we see, what we actually can connect to in a deepening understanding. And it's alive. If you're feeling it, it's alive. Like, we're living it. And we're proof that it's right here. Like, I live it all the time. It's like, it's part of my reality. And I'm like, oh yeah. And people keep stepping these spaces in there. Yeah. So it's here right now. And this is the practice. And if we don't practice, well, we're never going to get to where we actually want to be. And then the last thing is just like, I don't know if you tuned into this, and I just wanted to, just tune into just a little question that people might have just about like, it's going to be a sleepover. So be prepared for a like beautiful evening with many different experiences that will expand both your conscious awareness, like in your mind, and it'll expand your body in how it receives and is activated through pleasurable experiences. Yeah.
Amen. Yeah.
Thank you, Puja.
Yeah, thank you, love. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It's going to happen. And we're both going to be there and welcome you in our magical temple and in our beautiful hearts. So, bye, Sprout. Talk to you soon.
Bye, love. See you guys soon.